boy, if I can only figure out how to bring up the chat. That is something that I need to do. There it is. There we go. I guess we will get to that during the game. Excited for that. Alright, when is the game supposed to start? Great. Hello, VasCo. Let's see. Are both players ready to get started? Do I have to explain the streaming thing again? Okay. As of right now, my name is Asher. I actually don't have my own channel up and running yet, so I am hijacking Coverdales' channel, and I'm restreaming through his channel just to make it easier for me. I think that made sense. So, you won't hear Coverdales. You hear me, and we will be ready to start as soon as both players are good. Right, and we're doing SPS. So we'll do that. And we will pin the seed. Pin, cool. All right, seed is up since both players would like to do SPS. All right. Just waiting on a ready for both players on the screen. Let's see. She does. She has the higher PB. So VasCo has the higher PB, and she will get the speed choice. All right. Level 18 is the start. Both players seem to have their ready screens up. So, let's send this down to the Matrix in... Wait, before we send it down to the Matrix, Coverdales, what's the command? Okay, yeah, I knew that. I knew the command. I knew the command. All right. Before we get this started, I love Tetris. All right, let's do this. Send it down the Matrix in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. VasCo. There we go. Right, we are good. All right. Now that this game has started, we can get into player profiles. As of right now, VasCo is a hybrid player from the land of Russia, with the higher PB just by a little bit, with 692,000. As of right now, 0-6 in the season, 4-18 on games. And Coverdales is 1-7 this season, 12-22 on games. So both players, a little bit of a rocky start here this season, but that's okay. They're both doing much better than I ever would, and I've already seen firsthand what it takes to get to the silver division. It's not easy. You need to grind to get here. And both players, very good players, I'm sure of it. Coverdales, however, not a hybrid playstyle. He's a roller. And key thing about VasCo, she actually sets up her wells on the left side, as you can see. So a bit different than a traditional right side well style. Not exactly sure the reason, but if it works for her, and she's in the silver division right now, I'm sure it is a good style for her. It's really whatever works for anyone. That's how you play this game. And as of right now, Coverdale's in the lead just by 17,000. So very close game as of right now. Hopefully the setup isn't as jank as usual. Maybe we don't have any miscommunications today. Although we already have with me forgetting the seed commands, but that's okay. Coverdale's a few misdrops here and getting high on his build. VasCo still running clean. And Coverdale's tops out at 170,000. It's going to be a chase down, and VasCo isn't able to make the chase down. Coverdales, you are good for game number 1. All right. So Coverdales takes game number 1. And as soon as VasCo's ready, we'll move on to game number 2 of set number 1. Oh. There we go. All right. Both players are ready. Let's send it down to the matrix in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. All right. Coverdale's the first to put points on the board here with 2 quick Tetrises. And VasCo immediately gets back at Coverdale's. We are in a good game right now. This is very close. Just very early, but still very close. Hopefully everyone's doing very well today. See a couple of misdrops from Coverdale's. And that's it for Coverdale's. VasCo will take game number 2. So we are tied up here in set number 1. VasCo, yep, you are good for game number 2. Good show of sportsmanship here. Waiting on Coverdales. Just getting a little bit of a warm-up in. Getting out those jitters. All right, both players have their ready screens up. So let's send it down to the matrix in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Oh. Are we counting that a missed start or no? All right. Let's restart there. Coverdale's put up the wrong screen for a second. So VasCo, let's restart real quick. All right. Slight mistake. Everyone makes mistakes. That is A-OK. Once we see the ready screen from both players, we'll send it back down. All right, both players with the ready screen. And 3, 2, 1, Tetris. All right. So a slight little hiccup there in the road. Nothing us Tetris pros can't handle. I'm saying that as if I'm a Tetris pro, I would get slaughtered by these people. Right now, Coverdale's in the lead by about a score of 50,000. And he'll bump that up to about 70,000 with that Tetris. VasCo not too far behind. Coverdale's a little bit of digging to do, and he solves the problem there. Good Tetris there by VasCo. Score is essentially even right now, both at 150,000. Coverdales was in a bit of a dig there, able to get out of it for the time being. Proves it there with the Tetris. Ooh. Coverdale's board reaching high, and he is unable to get it back down. VasCo, you are good for game number 3. Good game for both players. Moving on to game number 4. Coverdales does have the level choice, if he'd like to keep it at 18. Yeah, because it went VasCo, you VasCo. Game 4. Alright, Coverdales would like to bring the level down to 15. VasCo seems to be ready. So is Coverdales. What? Uh, the seed? The seed is C3B247. Hold on 1 second. Not you, the stream. A little bit technical difficulties. Oh, all right, a little bit of a seed issue here. What screen is being streamed right now? There we go. Okay. Now that we got that settled, both players seem to have their ready screens up. So let's send it down to the matrix. In 3, 2, 1, Tetris. Move to level 15 here. This is going to be a bit of a methodical game for both players, considering the speeds were just at 18. So maybe the slow pace will benefit Coverdale since he chose, or maybe not. Coverdale is developing a very high tower here on the left already. Gonna have to burn. VasCo in a bit of trouble as well. Both players are in dire need of burning some pieces. And VasCo tops out at 41,000. It's going to be a chase down for Coverdales. It's not going to be an easy chase down, however, because his well is not open. And there's the Tetris to put him on top. A dirty Tetris gets him there. Coverdales, you are good for game number 4. And we will go on to a game 5 in this first set. Already gearing up for an exciting finish to set number 1. Nice. All right. This game will be a decider. VasCo has the level choice, and we move back up to 18. All right, both players seem to have their ready screens. Let's send it down the matrix in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Deciding match here. Deciding matches in Tetris are always my favorite. They're the most exciting, and they're just it's like watching the fourth quarter of a basketball game for me. You know, first 3 quarters, well, okay, anything can happen. Fourth quarter, this is the decider of who wins the game. Both players off to a strong start. 70,000 for Coverdales, 45,000 for VasCo. Both players now needing to burn a little bit. Coverdale's free here. VasCo climbing pretty high, and down goes VasCo. Coverdales, you are good for game number 5 and set number 1. Right. Let me log this. A good game for both players there. And in a short bit, we move on to set number 2. All right, let me just report this. VasCo was home for that one. Yeah. Oh, let me grab your Twitch. Let's see. Is 7:30. All right. We'll be moving on to set number 2 in just a short minute. New seed is going to be up. That is now. So, I didn't, but it doesn't seem that I need to, because this one is the new pin. Right? Yeah, okay. All right, new seed is up. I have, yeah. All right, level choice goes to Coverdales. Remove the X's as well. All right, so we will have a level 15 start. Both players are ready. Let's set it down to the Matrix in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. All right. Seed is good. And both players are rolling. I love that pun. Except for VasCo, who isn't rolling because she's a hybrid player. Methodical start here for both players, considering the speed. However, as of right now, Coverdales is in the lead by a little bit. The score of 52,000. VasCo at 40,000. Good burn there by VasCo. And a Tetris for Coverdales. VasCo waiting on a line piece. And there it is. Coverdale's with a 70,000 point lead as of right now. No well is open for either player. Tetris for Coverdales. I'm anticipating a speed change, a level change at any point soon for either player. Coverdales was climbing high there for a second, but was able to get his line piece. VasCo board very clean. Yeah. VasCo, a bit of a misdrop there, and VasCo's going to top out there at 127,000. Coverdales, you are good for game number 1. Good game for both players. And VasCo is going to confirm a level 15 start for her game. Right. Both players have their ready screens up. So let's send this down to the matrix in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Okay. So far, Coverdales sets up his board nicely with the Tetris there. He's got an early head start over VasCo. Coverdale's in need of opening as well, and he does so successfully. VasCo also in need of opening her well. Gonna be a bit difficult here. VasCo's gonna need to play a little bit of catch up and burn some pieces. A line piece for VasCo would be necessary. There it is. Able to cut down the bird just a little bit more. And she has recovered. Wow. What a great run there by VasCo to recover her board. During that time, Coverdales was able to make a little bit of progress here, but VasCo just 30,000 points behind. Coverdales is going to need to open his own well now. Both players doing very well right now. And although Coverdales is a little bit better points-wise, I think VasCo has a little bit more of the advantage for now. Her board is pristine, and a Tetris proves that for VasCo. Coverdale is going to need to recover a little bit. Three-line burn there for VasCo. There's a very helpful Tetris there for Coverdales. Both players doing very well, and Coverdales is able to recover from his dig. Moving on to the level 16 speed change for Coverdales. VasCo still on 15. VasCo with a 30,000 point lead. There's VasCo's speed change. Coverdales has quickly caught up, and his speed change to 17 now. There's VasCo's speed change to 17. This is a very even game. Coverdales gets his speed change to 18. This is the best game to this point for both players. And there's VasCo's speed change. Both players on level 18 now. Coverdale's climbing a little bit. Now the speed change to 19 for Coverdales. VasCo with the Tetris. And there's VasCo's speed change to 19. Oh, and Coverdales tops out at 264,000. VasCo is good for game number 2 of set number 2. However, we could see an attempt at a PB run. And a couple of misdrops. But that's okay. VasCo, you are good for game number 2. Very entertaining for both players on that game. That was the best game of the day. So good game to both players. That was very good. Both players were able to get up to high speeds there. From level 15, both players reached 19. Unfortunately for Coverdales, couldn't go past that. VasCo was able to almost go for a PB. And oh, we have a raid from Adam Irish. Sorry, I missed that earlier. But thank you for the raid. And we will keep this game moving along once we see a ready from both players. Believe this is Coverdale's choice of level speed. Alright, 15, VasCo. Good for 15. All right. Seems like both players have their ready screens up. So let's send it down to the matrix in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Hopefully both players can capitalize on the momentum of last game. And although Coverdales did lose last game, it wasn't a bad game at all. Both players were able to get up to extremely high speeds. From level 15, they were able to get up to 19. So hopefully we see some more momentum here, as it is tied 1-1 in set number 2. For anyone watching who was not watching in set number 1, VasCo hails from Russia with a hybrid playstyle compared to Coverdale's rolling playstyle. VasCo with a little bit higher of a PB at 692,000 compared to Coverdale's 635,000. And both players this season aren't doing the greatest. However, this is still the Silver 42 division, and it is extremely hard to get here in the first place. I think that summed up both the players very well. VasCo here in a little bit of a dig, and so is Coverdales. But points-wise, very even. VasCo climbing pretty high here, however. And VasCo tops out at 43,000. That was a quick game. Coverdales, you are good for game number 3. And we will move on to a game number 4. All right. And we will not be changing speeds for this game. Remaining at 15. Both players have their ready screens up. So let's send it down to the matrix in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. And already both players with their first Tetrises of the game. Adam Irish is clearly hyped for this one. Coverdale's board looking clean as of right now. VasCo in a bit of a dig, gonna need to recover. Not imperative that she recovers just yet, but her board is climbing. Well is open, and there is the line piece just in time, and there's another one. VasCo able to recover very nicely. Still has a little bit of work to do, but as of right now, looking pretty good. Coverdales, on the other hand, developed a 60,000 point lead during his time ahead. Climbing pretty high, waiting for that line piece. And there it is. Able to get it across. A good Tetris there by Coverdales. VasCo has her well set up, waiting on the line piece. Still not there. And there's the line piece for the Tetris for VasCo. Another Tetris for VasCo, and this is shaping up to be a very, very good game. Just like we saw in game number 2 of set number 2. Let's hope these players can continue their great Tetris playing here, and let's hope they can get to the higher levels. What we're really hoping for here is a PB by either player. I would love to see a PB. I don't believe, oh, maybe I have, I've seen one PB so far, but anytime any player hits a good PB, it's always a pretty good game. Set number 1 went to Coverdales. Coverdales in a decider. It was 2-2, and Coverdales took game number 5. So Coverdales was able to take set number 1. But as of right now, set number 2 is still anyone's game. Potentially a bit of a misplacement there from VasCo, and VasCo tops out. Coverdales, you are good for game number 3 and set number 2. And that will end the match of Coverdales versus VasCo. Get that one logged in there. Coverdales was able to take it 3-1. Was 6. All right, and you were home that game, right? It switches the home and away. Okay, right. All right, matches are submitted. Good day. We got an extremely exciting match. And hopefully you'll be back later at 8 p.m. Eastern. What time would that be in UTC? 12 UTC? Oh, sorry, 0, right? 0:30 UTC. So hopefully we see everyone back here tonight for Coverdale's match against the current number 2 in Silver 42, Lutet. And hopefully we will expect a good, exciting match later tonight. But for now, we'll be going offline. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the raid again, Adam Irish. And hopefully we see everyone later tonight. Thank you, guys.